As the country continues to confront economic challenges that, of course, affect its corporate existence, the president of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Mr. Adesina Adedayo, says Nigeria needs the right tax and fiscal policies to develop economically. Mr. Adesina discloses this while briefing newsmen in Abuja ahead of its 25th Annual Tax Conference, scheduled to take place in the nation's capital, with the theme, Nigeria of the Future, Achieving Sustainable Development Through Taxation. Now, the CITN president says for the country to effectively develop economically, we must get our tax and fiscal policies right. Well, joining me live on the show is no other person than the president and chairman of council of the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Mr. Adesina Adedayo. Well, he's not alone. He's here with the chairman of the 25th Annual Tax Conference Committee, Mrs. Ruth Arukoyo. Thank you so much. It's good to have you here again.
Thank you.
It's been a year now, just like that. Quickly, a year is gone. Well, let's start with talking basically about tax issues. Prof was almost starting our conversation because he was taking the conversation to taxation and all of that. And I saw you nodding and interested in some of what he said. But as an institute, what is your assessment and how can we get better?
Thank you very much. The truth of the matter is that Prof actually captured it. Prof is a member of our institute, so I'm not surprised anyway. And to actually buttress a lot of the issues he raised is what we are trying to address at this conference. When you look at the Nigeria of today, there are so many things we are concerned about. Borrowing, the issue of even our infrastructural deficit, all these are the challenges of today. But we are going beyond today. We are trying to see what does the future hold. And the truth of the matter is that you cannot talk about the future of Nigeria now without talking taxation. The issue is that if in 25 years' time, we are going to rise from being just talking about 200 and something million to 400 million in terms of population, we should be looking at something that is sustainable. And the only thing that can sustain us going forward is the issue of taxation. The statistics will not help us if we do not start talking about effective development. And that's why we felt at this particular conference that we should now start talking about the future. Enough of lamentation of how we got to where we are. We should start thinking of where we are heading to. And that's why we choose this thing.
Let me move to Madam Ruth now. Now, tell us more about this. You're the chairman of the planning committee, and I'm sure a lot of effort has been put into this. So take us through where we are and what we should be expecting.
Thank you so much. The 25th Annual Tax Conference, which is the silver edition, the conference has become an annual event.
Yes.
We had it other years. Like my president said, at this conference, we'll be looking at current trends in taxation, what is happening in the global space, the issue of digital economy, new trends in taxation. These are things we will be looking at. How can we use taxation to develop our nation moving forward? Over-reliance on oil revenue has not helped the country because of the fluctuations in the international market. Therefore, we know now that the only sustainable way of generating revenue for this country is through taxation. And that is why we must look at it and take it seriously. And that is what we are set to do at this conference. We have a lineup of papers to address these issues at this conference. Thank you.
Interesting stuff. But let me get to some other technicalities now. At least what kind of people are we expecting to, President? Let me ask you, because I think one of the goals is to make sure that we revisit this our tax to GDP thing, how we can improve it. I keep hearing 6% ever since I've been in this business. I don't know maybe what is really happening, and how do you see this conference helping us channel a way to get better in this aspect?
Thank you very much. I will still make reference to what Professor Walike said in the course of this conversation. You know, he mentioned something like 57 million in terms of the working population. And then you are now talking about issues that borders on even those who are not even doing anything. You have dependent relatives. You have people who are even students and the youths. You have even those who are elderly, the senior citizens. Now, when we are now looking into the future, with the population of the country predominantly tilted towards the youth, then we should now start thinking about what happened. How do they get gainfully employed? How do we boost the economy? How do we stop even the jackpot syndrome we are talking about? If you do not make Nigeria habitable and conducive for their future and their goal, then we are going to still be having the japa. Now, we are discussing the Nigeria of the future, and we are looking at this issue of tax to GDP. The fact remains that it is productive utilization that can lead to even the tax revenue. If we have situation where people are leaving, companies are closing down, then we have a serious challenge. And we need to start looking at our policy. We need to start looking at our laws. We need to start strengthening the administration. All these are the areas we are looking at. And just like I said earlier too, the issue of widening the tax base is something we have not been paying more than enough attention to. We should start widening the tax base. There are some people that are making serious income, but ironically, as a result of our level of administrative development, we have not been able to put them in the net. Then we have the issue of the fiscal policy model. How do we talk about the development in Lagos being equally matched by another state elsewhere? All these are areas we need to have conversation around. And because it's a gathering of the largest number of tax practitioners and professionals, we are going to have a conversation around this and develop something that will be able to guide the government going forward. Professionals are going to determine what the future holds.
Is it just open for only your members? I needed to ask that too. Is it open for just professional members?
No, not at all. Talking about sustainable development.
Yes, please.
Involves everybody, all stakeholders, because this country belongs to all of us. At this conference, we're expecting not just tax practitioners, we're expecting captains of industries, both locally and internationally. We're expecting stakeholders, even from civil societies, even students. We have invited students because the institute belongs so much in the future of this nation. And that is why we are giving attention even to students in our higher institutions. We're inviting some of our students. They'll be with us there because they need to start learning about taxation even from now onward. We are also collaborating with practitioners. We are collaborating with UNDP, for example, for the first time at this conference, because we believe that we need to reach out. We need to reach out to even international organizations, let them come and discuss, have a conversation with us so that we can know how to grow our tax revenue in this country to be able to carry this nation forward to the next level.
Interesting stuff there, but let me now talk technology with you again, President. I like the point that she raised. Let's talk about technology and how practitioners are now leveraging. See people commending the LR, FRS and all of that, saying this automation, simplifying things and all of that. How well are your members keying into that, and other practitioners keying into technology, leveraging on it to improve taxation?
Thank you very much. Our members are actually focusing on technology because there's a truth. You know, we are talking about issue of artificial intelligence. We are talking about various use of technology. Even as at now, at the revenue level, they are even satisfied with you sending an email and they consider it sufficient instead of asking you to come all the way down to their tax office. Now, when you now go beyond that and you start looking at the world we are in, we used to be in the information age, but the world has moved to the knowledge age. And if you are going to talk about a professional being relevant in the age you are in today, you should start talking about knowledge. You should start talking about technology. And then add it to advocacy, which means that the professionals will determine the direction of the country. It should not just be left to politicians. Politicians have their own mandate. The professionals have their own, which is what they do day in, day out. So these are areas where, as an institute, we have made up our mind and we are making progress in this regard, that the issue of technology is not something you can divorce from taxation.
Interesting stuff there. I want you to also talk more around that. What more are you expecting? I know because planning a big event like this, you have expectations. You have what you want people to take home and saying that, yes, this is what I've taken from this year's ATC, as it's called in code, right? That's annual tax conference. So what more are your expectations?
Yes, at this conference, at the end of this conference, participants will be rest assured because through the discussions that will go on at this conference, we'll be able to chart a course of how we can use revenue to build a greater nation. At this conference, we have lineup of activities for participants. For example, we have a sporting carnival during this conference, It is not just sitting down and listening to lectures. We know that it's good to also relax,
yes,
take care of our health, and that is why after the plenary session, we have a sporting carnival where people will come, they will do exercise, and there will be prizes to be won at this conference during the sporting carnival. We have swimming competition, indoor games, and things like that. So at the end of this conference, participants will be able to go back to their various locations because our members are from different professions. They will be able to go back and now take the message home, and they can be able to develop a way that taxation will truly be used to turn things around for our economy.
Brilliant. We're almost wrapping up, but President, a lot has been done. I must say it's been eventful for you ever since you've ascended that post of the presidency of CITN, and I know a lot has been done. We can highlight some of this. And you personally, you should be the chief host. What are you also expecting? What will be some of the take-homes, or what are the most interesting papers you think that will catch everyone's fancy?
Actually, the most interesting paper is the team. Because you see, when you say Nigeria of the future, if you start connecting the dots, you are looking forward. Then secondly, we are not talking about just development. We are talking about sustainable development. And what do you need to achieve this sustainable development? We say it should be tax. And now tax that we are even looking at is not just about the increase of rate. It's about widening the base. Even before the IMF start advising us, we have been talking about this all along. But this time around, we are going beyond this. We have made it a theme of the conference. We are not discussing abstract. We are discussing reality. And a new government is about to start, or rather, a new administration is about to commence. And if we don't start making this an issue that our institute stands for, then the objective is defeated. So by the time we finish this conference, the take-home is that we must have a communique that we will actually engage the government with. It's not just communicating the communique alone. We want to engage the government on every item of that communique in terms of implementation. Implementation strategies will be developed in order to enhance the objective of the team itself so that we have the Nigeria of our future.
Advice to members, colleagues, and everyone as we move on to, as we expect the day very soon. It's just a few days' time.
The conference starts on Monday, the 8th of May, 2023. Registration, then in the evening we'll have hospitality night. Then the plenary session will start on Tuesday. So we're expecting all stakeholders to be in Abuja at Chida Event Center for the 4 days event, to come and let us brainstorm. Because when we come together as professionals and we discuss, we'll be able to chart a course truly that will take this nation to the next level. Sustainable development is only taxation that can take us there. There's no other way. Because we have seen that every other sources of revenue are not reliable. It is only taxation that is a reliable source of revenue. Thank you.
A passing shot from you, President. What is your final word on this?
My final word is that I want us to believe in Nigeria. The truth of the matter is that while some other countries are trying to increase their population, we have our own coming to us naturally. So what we need to now be doing is strengthening the population in terms of ability to pay tax. And the way we can get this done is to actually start talking about addressing issue of infrastructure and structural challenges, including actually looking at what it takes to see the Nigeria of our dream. I want to see it while I'm still alive.
Great stuff. You want to say why you're still alive. Sure. So all activities moves to Abuja. We'll be seeing you live from Abuja, and all of the activities going on. Thank you so much. It's good to have you in the studio. Interesting stuff. That's your tight schedule, Mr. President. Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Mr. Additional Adedayo here, and Mrs. Ruth Arokoyo, the chairperson of the 25th Annual Conference Committee. We wish you all the best, and TVC will always be there to play their role. Thank you so much.
Thank you.